welcome to this week's PC Voyage. I'm Rainey Laviolette.
And I'm Andrew Doty.
This week's show, we have how to run a bulletin board. Our producer, Keith Davis, went out and interviewed Dave Orcutt, who runs a bulletin board for the Pioneer Valley Computer Club, or the PVCC for short. And we have that tape coming right up, and we also have Bob Clemens with PC Voyage News, and we're going to be talking about something at the end, but we're still not sure what. First off, though, here's Keith Davis with Dave Orcutt.
Hi, I'm Keith Davis, and we're here in Dave Orr's den. Dave Orcutt, how you doing, Dave?
Just fine.
And thanks for having us on to your place for the show here.
Thanks for asking. Very happy to be here.
And what is all this stuff here? Tell us what's going on with all these machines in the background.
This is a real BBS, or bulletin board system. It's called the PVCC User Group BBS, and it's the home base of the Pioneer Valley Computer Club. And what we have here are 6 phone lines, 6 online computers that people can dial into and play games. They can do messaging around the world. They can take files from here to their computer, shareware files, not commercial files.
All right.
And we always try to have the latest in shareware. And it basically gives them an opportunity to connect with people throughout the United States and Europe and Australia and Singapore. And
Oh boy. Okay, so if anybody has a PC and a modem and software to run the modem, and what are the popular software packages for modems?
okay, there's Q modem, there's Telex, which is my favorite. There's Robocom, which many people are starting to use now, which is an automated thing which will actually call into the system at any time of the day or night. It will get their mail for them. It'll get down any files that they want, all automatically while they're sleeping or eating supper, and it's becoming very popular. I prefer Telex. I like to work online because I like to see what's going on, what's happening while I'm doing it.
I think I use Procom, and there's other shareware modem software packages out, not as substantial, but they work. Some of them work very well. What would be the procedure if somebody wanted to call here? How do they find out the phone number, first of all?
Okay, that's listed in Computer Shopper, which is a national magazine, and just if they are able to get into any bulletin board locally, most bulletin boards have a bulletin listing all the various bulletin boards in the area.
Okay.
And we're listed, and of course there's probably about 20 other bulletin boards in this area.
And now, if these screens that are all on now, that represents individual callers calling in and doing various things.
There's a couple of quiet nodes right here.
Okay, so they're doing various things in various areas of the board right now, right?
Yes, over here, this particular node is the fellow's taking a file to his computer. All the files here are compressed to save space and transmission time. And once the user gets them into his computer, he then uncompresses it and uses it. And over here, this person is using a game called Yahtzee, playing a game called Yahtzee. And some of the games are played against other people, or some of them are played individually, as that one is. We have Scrabble, which is very popular, where people can play actually real-time online together. One could be on one line, one could be on the other line, or they can make their move, and the other person can come in at any time and make a move. And there's many different games here.
So, so each computer has its own modem, its own line, but they're still networked together, so they can share certain data.
That's correct. There's a master server here, which is right here. I don't know if you're able to see it. And that master server is not connected to a telephone line. That runs the whole network. These are all network computers tied together by a Lantastic operating system network, and they all share the same data. So if you call in any line, it's just as if you were on the same line all the time, no matter what phone number you call.
Okay, and any of these people calling in, the procedure from what I've done with them, modems, is to call in and tell them, put in your name and a password, and as long as everything is established, that you're a current up-to-date user, then you come up to a main menu, and from there you go to the various options on the board.
I guess the way to explain it would be probably to a new user. A new user would call a system such as PVCC. They would be asked their name, they would be asked a few general questions. They would then go into what we call a callback verification door, which actually calls them back at their telephone number to verify that they are in fact the person that is calling the system.
This is for the first time somebody logs on here, right?
That's correct, first time. Just to make sure that we know who's calling. We don't like bogus callers. We want real names. No handles are allowed, so you have to be the right person.
Okay. And now we were talking about some of the services here. One was messaging. Now I know I've left questions on bulletin boards, and in a few days people from all over the country have answered my questions. And what's the mechanism when I sign on to this bulletin board in Western Massachusetts? How does my message get out across the country, and then how does the answer get back here?
Okay, there's 4 major networks that I carry. I carry iLink, Intellect, I carry Uninet, and I carry ThrobNet, which is an adult network. I could show you, I made a very small diagram here to show you. I don't know if you can pick this up or not. Okay, up at the top we have an international host. He's located in New York City. We have a West Coast regional hub, a central hub, and an East Coast hub, which I am. And then underneath the structure, just like an organizational chart for business, we have hubs, which are just BBSs down the chain, and then nodes further down the chain. It could go on forever, but we try to keep it to 4 levels, because then it would take too long for the mail to get up. But what happens is the node, the people on this BBS, say PVCC, would be entering messages, and say at 11 o'clock at night, this bulletin board would call the hub, and at, say, 1 o'clock in the morning, the hub would call the West Coast regional, and then he would call international host, say, at 4 in the morning. So by the next day, the mail is all here. And of course, this is happening all over the world, because we have Europe nodes that are calling into the regional hubs. We have Europe nodes, we have what we call the RIM connection to Singapore, and we have Australia calling in to the international host. So mail comes in and out probably in about 3 days to go around the world.
So getting back, it's just the reverse order.
Yes.
So someone who sees a question that you have asked and they respond to your question, that board that is showing up on at that moment knows ultimately where it came from, and it works its way back here.
What happens is the actual user would have his name on the message, and so a person would respond to that person's message. It would get sent back to the international host, and ultimately to all the bulletin boards down the chain. And when you log on to the bulletin board, you would be flagged that you have mail waiting under your name, and in a particular conference. And a conference is like a bunch of mailboxes. We have excuse me, 338 individual conferences here, and it could be any subject from cooking to cars, auto racing, whatever your particular hobby is. We have a conference for it, and you could leave a message in a particular conference on any subject, and then somebody could respond to you or give you some help with something.
I think it's important to note that the use of the bulletin board is not limited to just computer-related stuff. You can, like you say, if you have an interest in antique cars, there might be an automotive conference on there. And
you have Monty Python.
So,
if you have
sure.
an interest in British TV or that type of thing.
So that way, you may have a bigger interest in a subject that's on a bulletin board than computer-related stuff. Although I have to say, I learned an awful lot about computers and the use of computers by signing on to bulletin boards, reading the messages and the mail and the comments that people ask and respond to each other, and also by downloading utility files that have documentations that, with them that tell how a certain aspect of the computer works.
That's correct. It's very similar to ham radio. There's always someone out there that wants to help you with something. So if you have a question, you're liable to get 10 answers for it. Not all are correct all the time, so you kind of have to weigh things. But it's a very helpful thing for learning. We have a lot of new people that come in here, And they learn without having to go to college or go to special schools to learn more about computers just by asking. It's a very good tool for that.
When someone signs on and they get to the opening menus and stuff, is it rather self-explanatory as to where to go on the board and what to do?
Yes, it is. If you'd like, I could do a quick log on here if we could get the camera in line. I don't know if you want to do that at this point.
Okay.
Why don't we can you shoot over the shoulder here?
Sure.
When a person logs on to the bulletin board, you're told there are several languages we can use here. The PC board allows you, which the software I'm running is PC board, allows you to have any number of languages. So if we had foreign language people here, we could have Chinese or Spanish or whatever. I just have some joke ones, Jive and Aussie, and we'll just choose English. And it asks you if you want IBM color graphics, and we'll just type yes for that. And it asks you what's your first name, and you have to type it correctly, and your last name. And then it will ask you for if this is correct. And the reason I have this is because people do call from all over the world, and there could be two Dave Orcutt, so sometimes we may have to put another initial in there. And it asks you for a password. And it tells me right here I have mail waiting on the main board.
I imagine you get a lot of mail, too.
Yes, I do. Right now there shouldn't be too much. There is a little. And what we didn't see right here, when the first time a user logs on for the day, you'll see a screen called the news screen. And what it does is it shows him a listing of all the nodes that are operating, and then it shows him a quote of the day, and it will tell him the latest news that's happening on the bulletin board system. In this case, it shows me that I'm the 169,606 caller to the BBS. And
Since this morning, Dave, or?
Not since this morning, no. We've been in operation over 9 years here, so we're pretty well established. And it just goes through various news items. From here, and I have to be careful here because I'm in a sysop mode and I don't really want to show you. I'll have to bring it down a bit here. Okay. I'll show you a standard menu. This is what the user would see for a menu if they're in non-expert mode. And it shows them all the different commands that they can use. Everything is highlighted in color, red to the left, they can use for a command. And for example, to join a conference, you would type J, join a conference. So we'll type J. Okay, and here's the first screen listing, the first screen out of 10 conference screens. And as you can see, there are various topics from health, programming, ham radio, electronics, transatlantic, which is an international chat conference where people can talk to people around the world, politics, religion.
I even see a few computer-related things on there, too.
Yes. Yeah, there are a few. Just about every programming language is available. Satellites, cars, cooking, media, languages like French. So there's a subject for everyone here, and as you can see, there are various networks by the different colors. The red, the yellow, the magenta.
Okay, so if you leave a message or some information in one of these conferences, it may not necessarily get to all other bulletin boards out there, only the ones that are tied up to that network?
That's correct. Everything that has like an IN in front of it is an Intellect network conference, so it will go to all the Intellect systems. The IL is iLink, and that will go to all the iLink systems.
Great.
And then down at the end here we have Uninet, which is in green. And Uninet is basically a West Coast network.
Okay, well that's a pretty substantial look at this board here. If anybody is into PCs, this is the place to be, I'll tell you. There's got to be 15 computers around me here, and just about everyone is running. So I'd like to thank you, Dave, for letting us come over here. And
This is a hobby gone wild.
hobby gone wild. Is there can we give out the main number here?
I'd be very happy to.
Which is what?
Area code 413-568-4466.
And that's right here. So
Right here.
right there. And Well, I suspect that possibly you might get a bunch of calls if people watch the show and they see this number. They may sign on all of a sudden
Sure hope so.
to
I'd
the.
like to see a few of these modems come out of the closet that have been gathering dust.
Great. So we're in Dave Orr's den, PVCC bulletin board, and I'm Keith Davis for PC Voyage. Sign on when you get a chance. This is great.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Dave. Thanks again.
Welcome back. Be sure to tune in next week for the second half of that interview.
And now, here's Chip with this week's trivia question.
Here are this week's computer trivia questions. Number 1. When was the operating system, Unix, developed? And number 2. What kind of tools are needed to install a virtual drive?
Welcome back. I hope that's a tough trivia question this week. And now, here's Bob Clements with PC Voyage News.
Good day, PC lovers. Rasterop's new paintboard PC is a true color accelerated display adapter for artists who use Windows applications. The device allows a single 24-bit screen image, which can be up to 2.3 megabytes in size, to be redrawn instantly. It can display as many as 16.7 million colors at resolutions as high as 1024 by 768 dots. The $1,299 paintboard supports CGA, VGA, and Super VGA standards. It works with all Windows 3.0 or later 24-bit applications and monitors sizes from 13 to 21 inches. It enlarges the viewing area by 156% over standard VGA output. How to Get Started with Modems is a new book from Computer Publishing Enterprises of San Diego. The book shows readers how to shop for and install a modem. It also provides definitions of commonly used modem terms, information on accessing work computers from home and working from home on a PC, and modem is provided as well. The publisher claims that the book can help the 90% of computer users who don't understand any modem technology. How to Get Started with Modems is one of 18 introductory computer books published by Computer Publishing Enterprises. Hewlett-Packard has created Dashboard, a new push-button utility that gives users a fast way to work within Microsoft's powerful operating system. Dashboard appears at the bottom corner of the PC's display, taking up a minimal amount of screen space. It features a series of controls for multiple screen views of programs and push-button icons to launch applications and organize program groups. The software also includes printer facsimile output controls and gauges to monitor system resources and memory. A new study predicts that computer-controlled cars will arrive on the nation's highways within the next 10 years. The University of Michigan report surveyed car and computer experts in the U.S., Europe, and Japan. It says the high-tech cars will include radar systems that can detect obstacles, radios that can receive warnings of traffic congestion, and a new type of cruise control system that will keep the vehicle in pace with other cars. This just in. Results from our telephone viewers survey. We asked our callers several questions, but the one question that was answered by everyone with total agreement was the question about our hosts, Renee and Andy. The question was, do you think Renee and Andy know anything about computers? Their answer? We decided not to ask them if they think they add class. Portions of PC Voyage news courtesy of Prodigy Service.
Thanks, Bob. And now, the trivia answer.
Here are this week's computer trivia answers. Number 1. Unix was developed in 1969 at TTNT Bell Labs. And number 2. A virtual drive, or RAM drive, is installed into your computer's memory using software called a device driver.
You know, one of the things that I find, even as you walk through supermarkets, department stores, almost gas stations at this point, you see shareware, discs of shareware. Go to the newsstand or any other store around and you pretty well find it. And you also get a lot of catalogs in the mail. Here's one from Sector Systems, Selective Software, some other ones, Reliable, Software Excitement. All these different magazines that I get in the mail are different shareware catalogs. And Andy has some more here as well.
Needless to say, I think once you get into computers, you get your fair share of
shareware catalogs.
Literature.
And the thing you want to be careful of whenever you buy a piece of shareware software is that you're buying something that's useful and something that is in fact shareware.
Well, another thing that you basically want to especially make sure, before you put this piece of shareware into your system, please make sure that you virus scan the software. You can never really rely on whether the person selling the shareware has done that for you. Make sure you scan it with a good virus scanner such as Scan or Central Point PC Tools.
And there's a lot of other good virus programs out there. I mean, you can pick up any of these catalogs at a computer fair. Oftentimes you'll see 30 or 40 vendors at a computer fair selling nothing but shareware. I've bought shareware myself because the title sounds good. You bring it home and it has nothing to do with what you want. You paid $3 for something that you're really disappointed with. I mean, yes, it's only $3, but it really feels like a wasted $3 if you bring home something you're not sure of. There are a lot of magazines that do talk about shareware. In fact, I think there's a shareware magazine that will talk about shareware and actually review it. You should look for that one in a newsstand.
There are several books available as well. There are several books available on shareware for CD-ROMs and so on and so forth. So look around in your bookstore for a listing of the popular ROMs. It should be, you probably should highlight basically what the idea behind shareware is. Why does an author really want to write a shareware program and put it up on the market for you to purchase at this measly little price?
Well, there's been a lot of successful shareware. Q-Modem is a successful shareware. Procom was a successful shareware. AutoMenu, what else?
There are
there's hundreds of them out there.
Games,
and a lot of times what's happened is that these vendors will write the software that is actually commercially viable, but because they don't have the funds of a Lotus or a Microsoft to market this software, they want people to try it. You will find that the better shareware usually has some, nowadays you can get some nice games. Commander Keen is a great game, a lot of graphics. What else is good? What's the new one? Wolfenstein. Wolfenstein's a good one. Multiple level games. And a lot of times what you'll find is that they will sell you or give you a shareware, the first level, but that you have to go ahead and purchase the other levels of the software for usually, what?
Measly prices, $20, $25. And the reasoning behind this is you really should register your piece of shareware. You can get it free on most bulletin boards, but if in the event that you do purchase it at the shows or something like that, take the time to evaluate it. Take a reasonable amount of time, as they request you do, and then mail them the fee that they request. Generally, the fee is far less than what you would pay in a retail market, and they will then keep you up to date, keep you informed of later revisions of their software by sending you notices or even free upgrades once you send them the money that they request.
You know, one that we forgot to mention is probably one that everybody uses. Every computer library has it, and just about everybody else uses it, is PK-Zip. That's probably one of the most successful shareware pieces of software on the market. But they're also in the business to make money. And they offer the software shareware so people get out there and use it. And I don't know of anybody who doesn't use PKZip, but I almost know nobody who's registered it. I think it's like $60 to register the software, and they usually keep you up to date with updates, future updates. They'll also give you free telephone support. But there's a real advantage to actually going ahead and purchasing the shareware software itself. It makes sure that the next version is pretty good. Without a new version now and then, these people starve, and a lot of the good software comes off the market.
Make sure you send them the money. They'll be more than happy to keep you informed as to what's going on, and that nudges them on to writing some better software.
Sure, sure, and there's a lot of great software out there that is shareware, most definitely. What we'd like to do now is to bring you our address, and if you have any ideas or suggestions that you'd like to see on the show, or topics that you think we should cover, please write to us. We do take your suggestions, and in fact, a lot of what we're doing these days are your suggestions. So please tell us we're doing a good job, please, and just give us different suggestions, and we'll be right back.
If you have any questions, or if you have any comments about the show, please write to us. Our address is PC Voyage, P.O. Box 6295, Holyoke, Massachusetts, 01041. We appreciate hearing from you.
Welcome back. I thought that was pretty informative little talk we had on shareware software. If you've got any other ideas, again, please feel free to write us. You never know, your name may be one of the lucky people to receive some
One thing that somebody mentioned during the break, which is real important, is there's an association of shareware professionals. And if it's a registered shareware with that organization, you're more apt to get a better quality shareware software and hopefully make sure that it doesn't have a virus on it. Viruses is the big thing we all have to watch out for, and I know a lot of people here have had them. So you got to be careful of those things.
Again, tune in next week to see the second half of the interview that you saw today, and more interesting, informative news such as what we've had here.
Sure.
I'm Andrew Doty.
And I'm Randy Laviolette, and this is PC Voyage. We'll see you next week. Nice job. Boy, we did that well. Didn't you have to wait for Walt to say,